Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're kicking things off with a look at something really interesting, I think, happening in education.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's this partnership between St. Anne's Senior Secondary School in Sehore, India, and International Steam Research ISR out of the USA.
Ah, ISR. Right.
Yeah, and it's not just, another school program. It feels like a genuinely forward-thinking way to get students ready for, well, whatever comes next.
Okay, interesting. And we have some info on this.
We do. Our main source is this report, the SAS-Sehore Report 2023-25. It goes into detail about their AI STEAM experiential learning program.
Got it. So like an AI-focused, hands-on STEAM thing.
Exactly. So the plan today is to really dig in, understand how this whole collaboration is maybe changing education there, how it's giving students these future-ready skills, fostering, real innovation.
Right. And for the listener,
Yeah.
what's the takeaway?
Well, for you listening, it's a chance to see a new educational model in action, especially with how fast the world's changing. Maybe get some aha moments about different ways learning can actually happen.
Cool. So St. Anne's,
Mm.
what's their story?
Okay, so St. Anne's Senior Secondary School, established back in 1989. The principal is Sister Alka Dabi, and they've really leaned into this idea of Education 4.0.
Education 4.0. So using tech, new teaching methods.
Yeah, basically leveraging technology, new ways of teaching to personalize learning and give kids the skills for, the modern world.
That makes sense.
And the report also gives a nod to Sister Lucy Joseph of the Sisters of Charity of St. Anne. Apparently she was quite visionary in getting this collaboration going.
Right. Leadership matters. And ISR, International STEAM Research, what's their role?
They're the ones bringing the curriculum, essentially, an advanced progressive STEAM curriculum.
Okay. So the report mentioned something called igniting a revolution. Sounds ambitious.
It does, doesn't it? What's the core idea behind that?
Yeah, the big goal, it seems, is really about empowering innovators, fostering sustainable development for the long haul.
Empowering innovators. How?
They're trying to create this learning environment where students aren't just passive receivers. They're meant to be active architects of innovation.
So less sitting and listening, more doing and creating.
Exactly that. The focus is heavily on developing those core skills: critical thinking, problem solving.
The 21st century skills we always hear about.
Right, and getting that technical expertise across STEAM science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths.
You mentioned arts in there, too. That's key for STEAM, not just STEM.
Absolutely, and it's not just technical stuff either. The report really emphasizes cultivating creativity, innovation.
How do they do that?
By encouraging students to, explore, experiment, even challenge boundaries. The idea is to help them build tangible solutions, nurture that spirit of ingenuity.
That kind of approach, actually building things, trying things, it must boost confidence, right?
You'd think so. And the program seems designed for that. Building confidence, building leadership skills.
Through what activities?
Lots of collaboration, presenting ideas, managing projects. So they learn to, talk about their work, lead a team, handle complex stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, something that caught my eye was this focus on breaking barriers and equity in STEAM.
That's crucial, isn't it?
Totally. How are they tackling that?
Well, St. Anne seems very intentional about creating a space, a sanctuary, the report calls it, free from biases and stereotypes.
So kids feel free to explore anything in STEAM.
That's the goal, letting passion drive them
Right.
without limitations, and importantly, trying to dismantle those gender disparities we often see in these fields.
That's really positive. Okay, so ISR brings this pioneering STEAM experiential learning methodology. Bit of a mouthful, but what does it mean in practice?
Yeah. Essentially, they frame it as redefining modern education, focus on sustainability, inclusivity, and interdisciplinary excellence.
Interdisciplinary, so mixing subjects.
Exactly. Pulling together science, technology, engineering, the artistic processes, and maths, the whole STEAM package, to build what they call invention literacy.
Invention literacy. I like that phrase. More than just knowing stuff, it's about being able to create, to invent.
Precisely. And the method itself isn't just plucked out of thin air. It's rooted in things like Bloom's taxonomy.
Levels of thinking skills.
Right. And the 4 C's of 21st century skills.
Right.
Critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication.
You mentioned earlier it aligns with India's National Education Policy, NEP 2020.
Yes, it's specifically mapped to the NEP 2020 structure, the foundation, preparatory, middle, and secondary stages, so it fits into the national framework.
So what are students actually doing day to day with this methodology?
Well, the core seems to be exploring real-world challenges, researching, analyzing critically, collaborating across different subjects to find solutions.
Okay.
And they stress that the journey is as important as the final solution, the process of discovery.
Right, learning through the process, not just aiming for the right answer.
Exactly. It's designed to move beyond textbooks, to nurture lifelong learners who are adaptable, ready for future jobs. The goal is these future-ready, mindful problem solvers.
Okay, that leads into the next bit, the urgency and need. Why did they argue this kind of education is so necessary now?
The main point is the future job market. It belongs to learners who are self-directed.
Pedagogical, the report calls it.
Yeah, that's the term. Self-directed learners. And versatile ones. Because technology, AI, robotics, IoT, VR, AR, 3D printing, it's advancing so rapidly.
It really is accelerating, isn't it? Hard to keep up.
Totally. And the report gives concrete examples: AI in surgery, cancer detection, finance, driverless cars, air taxis, 3D printed buildings. It highlights potential job displacement, but also new opportunities.
So the skills needed are changing fundamentally.
That's the argument. Traditional skills aren't enough. You absolutely need those 4 C's: critical thinking, collaboration, communication, creativity. And ISR's approach, they say, isn't just about like teaching kids to code. It's broader. It's about an interdisciplinary understanding for lifelong learning and mindful problem solving.
They have a framework for this, right? The 7E learning framework.
Yes, the 7 E's. It's a structure for the learning process: encourage, explore, engage, experience, explain, evaluate, and elate.
Okay, let's quickly walk through those. Encourage.
That's hooking them in, connecting what they know to the new challenge, striking curiosity with interesting scenarios or questions.
Got it. Then explore.
That's where they investigate, guided by the facilitator, but doing their own active inquiry to understand the core concepts.
Engage teamwork.
Yep. Working in teams, planning how they're going to tackle the problem.
Experience the hands-on part.
Exactly. Practical experiments, building things, often mixing different STEAM fields. Trial and error is expected, even welcomed.
Then explain. Documenting.
Correct. Writing down findings, reflecting on the process, often in these STEAM research journals.
Evaluate. Assessing the work.
Yes, but collaboratively. Facilitators and students looking at the effort, the outcomes, what skills were gained.
And finally, elate. Sounds fun.
It's the celebration, acknowledging the participation, the learning, the achievement, bringing joy into it.
Nice. You mentioned interdisciplinary work earlier. Why is that considered so important?
Because real-world problems rarely fit neatly into one subject box, right?
True.
So understanding how physics, engineering, environmental science, art, math, how they all connect, it leads to more holistic solutions. The report uses a sustainable energy project as an example.
Combining physics, engineering, maybe design, math modeling.
Exactly. It builds stronger problem-solving skills and, frankly, more creative thinking for complex issues.
Okay, let's circle back to the alignment with the National Education Policy, NEP 2020. How strong is that connection?
It seems pretty fundamental to the program's design. NEP 2020 really pushes for moving beyond rote learning.
Right, less memorization, more understanding.
Exactly. More holistic, student-centered learning. And experiential learning is right there, a cornerstone of the policy.
So practical knowledge, real-world skills.
Yeah, preparing students not just for exams, but for life, for work in the 21st century. That's the NEP vision.
And the policy encourages things like simulations, role plays, projects.
It does. Interactive, participatory learning, transforming classrooms into places for exploration and discovery. ISR's approach seems to fit right into that.
Let's talk about the hands-on part more, this happy zone. What exactly is it?
Okay, so the happy zone is basically their term for the STEAM lab environment. But before that, ISR actually ran an orientation for parents.
Oh, to get them on board.
Yeah, introducing experiential learning, futuristic tech, showing how it aligns with NEP 2020. In the methodology itself, it unfolds over about 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, long-term thing. It's dynamic, hands-on, designed to sharpen metacognition, thinking about thinking, and build a constructive mindset. And crucially, make learning fun.
Making learning fun. Imagine that.
Yeah, it's based on constructivism teacher as guide. Focus on the process, not just the result. Empowering students to build their own understanding.
And the Happy Zone name implies...
well, happiness.
A vibrant environment, yeah. Where they can physically build things, connect theory to practice. It's about that kind of aesthetic, hands-on learning. Trial and error without fear of failure.
That no fear of failure part sounds really important for creativity.
Absolutely. It's meant to spark creativity and critical thinking.
What are the key features they highlight?
Okay, collaborative learning is big, small groups, real problems, inquiry, design thinking, then open-ended exploration, freedom to experiment.
Try different paths.
Right. And interdisciplinary integration, connecting subjects for holistic learning, cognitive flexibility.
Is there any evidence this actually works? Does the report mention impact?
It does refer to studies showing positive impacts, better academic performance, better preparation for real-life challenges from this kind of long-term experiential learning.
Plus, it allows flexibility. Students can follow paths based on their talents and interests. It's definitely framed as a big shift from just teaching to the test.
Valuing the process, collaboration, creating adaptive problem solvers.
That's the idea.
Okay, so if they're valuing the process, how do they measure success? Let's talk outcomes and assessment.
Right. It's outcome-based learning. The goal is future-proof, versatile students, lifelong learners, mindful problem solvers, good citizens. They mentioned the 7E framework was successfully implemented in 2023-24, and learner response was really positive motivation, engagement, enthusiasm went up.
Skills improved.
Yeah, the 4 C's, confidence, and just a genuine liking for STEAM subjects. And their outcome framework is interesting because it includes things beyond just cognitive skills.
Like what?
Like compassion, resilience, things needed for success beyond just knowing stuff.
So the ISR outcome framework, what does it cover?
It's pretty comprehensive. Creativity thinking, critically, original solutions, adapting, communication fluency, listening, speaking, critical thinking, purposeful analysis, rational problem solving, curiosity exploration, inquiry.
Wow, okay.
Then compassion, leadership, empathy, commitment, dedication, culture, respect, civility, research-driven learning inquiry, innovation, resilience, overcoming challenges, no fear of failure, relevance, real-world application, respect for diversity, a mindful approach, impartial observation, acceptance, and ultimately being meaningful problem solvers, logical, connecting concepts.
That is a lot to assess. How do they actually track all that?
Through continuous assessment, they use something called the ISR CRM outcome framework and software called XP360.
Continuous assessment, so not just final exams?
No, much more ongoing. Daily evaluation through things like research journals, students log observations, reflections, facilitators review those. There's a constant feedback loop, constructive input. They track progress, how thinking evolves, assess skill application in hands-on tasks, evaluate problem-solving approaches, observe collaboration and creativity in group work. They use rubrics and checklists for consistency, plus peer and self-assessment for accountability. And, of course, facilitator observations of engagement, growth, adaptability. It's meant to be holistic.
Right, looking at the whole student, the whole process. Okay, the report also lists key initiatives and partnerships. What stands out there?
We'll go first, the tools they use. Different kits for different stages. Formation kit, XT kit, bridge kit, Muse kit, E-kit. Plus more advanced stuff like drones, humanoids, AR cubes, microbits.
It's a lot of tech involved.
Definitely. And integrated modules, robotics, entrepreneurship, engineering, AI, digital literacy. The grades reported for 23-24 and 24-25 are apparently mostly A's.
That's impressive. Any specific events?
Yeah, Musevention 2024-25 sounds like a big one. A showcase for 117 students, grades 3 to 9. They built futuristic prototypes using the 7E framework, tackling real problems with AI, robotics, design thinking.
So it was science fair, but maybe more focused on invention.
Kind of, yeah. It had workshops, over 2,000 attendees apparently. Seems like a key way they bridge classroom learning and real-world application.
Are there any other initiatives?
ISR Hutnar 2024-25. A global platform for older students, grades 9 and 11, for critical thinking, presenting ideas, and ISR Papers 2024-25, where students develop and publish actual research papers online. Gives them global visibility.
Publishing research in high school, that's pretty advanced.
It is. It fosters critical thinking, problem solving, real intellectual exploration.
What about partnerships? Who does ISR work with?
They have quite a few. They're ISO certified, won awards. They partner with universities in India and globally for knowledge exchange. Engage with thought leaders.
Industry partners, too.
Yes. Big names like Google, IBM, Adobe, Artec Japan, giving access to tech and real-world applications. They're even a knowledge partner for internships with India's Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. Wow. Plus, memberships in educational associations like AEE in the U.S. teach SDG Catalyst 2030, connecting their work to global goals like the UN SDGs. These partnerships clearly bring a lot of resources and credibility.
It sounds incredibly well connected and supported. Okay, let's shift to feedback. What did the stakeholders think? Parents, for instance.
Overwhelmingly positive, it seems. Parents reporting kids being really engaged, talking excitedly about STEAM classes at home.
That's always a good sign.
Definitely. They appreciated the enthusiasm, the positive interactions with facilitators, how eager their kids were to attend. The report has quotes about specific kits, like the robot kit, the practical knowledge gained, and events like Musevention. Real delight comes through.
And the students, what was their take?
Very similar. They called the STEAM lab the best place for creativity, art, AI, tech, science, robots building things.
So they enjoyed the hands-on aspect.
Big time. Gratitude for the platform, for improving creativity, for getting this international standard education. Thankful for skill development. They see the classes as useful, representing new technology. Again, lots of positive quotes directly from them.
That's great to hear. Both parents and students are so positive. The report ends with an FAQ section addressing common questions. Anything particularly useful for understanding the core ideas?
Yeah, a few things really crystallize their philosophy. They explain how experiential learning supports constructivism, active involvement, making meaning, how learners get voice and choice.
Directing their own learning paths.
Right, how it makes learning meaningful by connecting to prior knowledge and the real world. And clarifying, it's more than just learning by doing. Reflection is key. They list benefits like ownership, pride, faster learning, better retention, and stress. It works across age groups and education boards.
Did they address the difference between a regular science lab and their STEAM lab?
Yes, that was interesting. A science lab, they say, is usually single discipline, focused on validating existing concepts, often academic or exam focused.
Okay.
Whereas the STEAM lab is interdisciplinary, focused on solving real problems, developing those broader 21st century skills, encouraging innovation beyond traditional boundaries.
That's a really helpful distinction. Anything else noteworthy from the FAQ?
They talk about why kids like the happy zone, joyful, art-integrated, activity-based, fun, collaborative, inquiry-based, student-centric.
Sounds appealing.
And they also clarify what it's not. It's not just coding, not just occasional lab visits, not just using fancy tech without purpose, not just watching videos.
Setting expectations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they distinguish their holistic experiential learning lab from a dedicated robotics lab, again, emphasizing the interdisciplinary nature and broader skill set versus a narrower technical focus.
Okay, this has been incredibly insightful, a real deep dive into what St. Anne's and ISR are doing. If you had to summarize the key takeaways, what stands out most?
For me, it's the potential of this kind of partnership. It's clearly focused on creating learners who are ready for the future, innovative, well-rounded. The AI STEAM experiential approach seems unique and, crucially, aligned with national goals.
Right, and that emphasis on hands-on, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, real-world relevance, it feels powerful.
It really does.
And for you listening, hopefully this gives you some food for thought, those aha moments about how learning can be different, maybe more effective. It's a glimpse at a model that really steps beyond traditional methods.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How could models like this be scaled up, adapted elsewhere? What's the long-term impact if we really focus on nurturing this invention literacy, this curiosity?
Yeah, that's the big question. What happens when you cultivate that love for lifelong learning from early on? A provocative thought to leave you with.
Definitely something to ponder.
If you are interested in learning more about experiential learning or these specific initiatives, you could explore resources from educational organizations or maybe look directly into the work of international STEAM research.
Good suggestion.
Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.